Welcome, everybody, to our Sunday gathering. We're so happy you're here. Yes, it is Sunday gathering number 246. And for every single one of these weeks, we come together as a family, a global family, to really rejoice in being human together, giving you some words of inspiration and tools that we can use in the coming weeks. Also, comfort through grief and that lovely evidence that our loved ones live on, that they're still part of our life, and we will too. So, with that, I'm joined by the beautiful Carrie McLeod, her wonderful husband, Phil Dykes, me, myself, and I am Sandra Champlain. And just a warm welcome. I'm going to turn it over to Carrie, who has chosen our theme, our music, and she's going to get the ball rolling today. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you very much, Sandra. And it is an absolute delight to be able to join you and all of our people, our spiritual family from around the globe. Whether you're watching live or whether you are watching on the record, today's theme, I thought, considering where the world is right now, there's all sorts of things happening. I thought we would do standing in love, shielded in strength. Because there are times where we've got to manage our boundaries, and yet we've got to remain, don't have to, but our theme is about staying spiritual, staying true and staying authentic. So we'll be sharing some words for you today. I'll be doing the prayer and the healing and the reading, and Sandra will be joining Phil and I on the address. Phil will be, along with me, doing the mediumship, and then our friend Sandra's going to do words of the week before Phil closes in prayer. So if we can close our eyes and enter into that space for whoever you feel your God is as we enter into prayer. Divine and gracious Spirit, today as we join within the sacred space, we once again feel that power surrounding us, that power of love, of support, and of healing. In this month of December, the last month of the calendar year, we embrace the knowledge that our loved ones who have done their transition to spirit this year are truly with us, and those that have transitioned before them are keeping our loved ones within their love, their embrace, and their healing power. As we move through this month, allow us to remember those thoughts. That grief is a representation of that love, and therefore the memories make the love stronger and that connection present. So as we sit within the Sunday gathering and through the remainder of the week, allow us to remember all our thoughts are heard, all our actions are seen, all our words are noticed. Let us do it to our highest and greatest good. Amen.
Amen.
So I wanted to do a reading from a book that you probably have heard. It's a teeny tiny little book, but it's fantastic. It's called The Four Agreements, and it's by Dawn Miguel Ruiz. And I know that there's a fifth agreement, but I like the book with the four agreements in it. It's a spiritual book that gives wisdom for us as we move through, and it has, yes, you guessed it, four agreements. The first one is about being impeccable with your word. It says, speak with integrity, say only what you mean, and avoid using your words to harm others or yourself. Words have power, so use them to uplift and create love, not spread doubt or negativity. The second is don't take anything personally. It means recognize that what others say is a reflection of their inner world, not of you. Their actions are shaped by their perceptions, their beliefs, and their experience. So don't take what they say or do personally. The third is don't make assumptions. Avoiding to jumping to conclusions or assumptions sounds like a really easy thing to do, but actually, sometimes our brain does it without us even thinking. You know that problem where you think you know the answer and suddenly your brain has come up with 40 different solutions to each of the 10 possible outcomes, and then we wonder why we're tired. Instead, ask questions, communicate clearly to avoid misunderstandings. Communication is the key. If you don't understand, ask. The fourth and final one is always do your best. Do your best in every situation, and then you'll not have to beat yourself round the head with the wet fish every time you get something wrong. That's the guidance I was given by a lovely gentleman in the spirit world, said with a much stronger accent than myself. If you know you go into every situation doing your best, then whatever happens was your best. It might not be as good as before, and it probably won't be as good as what you'll do tomorrow. But right now, if you go in with the intention of doing your best, then what comes out is your best in that moment. Not to judge, not to get irritated, not to get upset or angry or resentful of self. Because if you have it in your mind to do your best, then you have to trust that that's absolutely what you did. So I'm going to say a little bit more about that in our address, but I wanted to move into our healing song. Now, there is, as I said at the start, lots happening in our world, good as well as not so good. There are people in beds of sickness. There are people that need our healing thoughts. There are families being reunited. There are families missing each other. So whatever is a situation, everybody can do with a little bit extra healing. And you could do with a bit, I'm sure, as well. So as we go into this song, allow yourself to listen to the words. It's by the Beatles and it's called Let It Be. Sounds really easy, but we have to work at it. Everything is just as it's meant to be, but our healing can always make a difference. So allow yourself to enter into this space as we listen to the Beatles. I just love that song. And he looks so young.
Me?
No, Paul McCartney.
Gotta get that one in.
Yes, you, my dear.
Yes.
It is a delight to be here. And as I was thinking about today's theme, I was thinking about the words of Maya Angelou when she said, you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. And her words reminded me of just how much we can be resilient to the world around us. That if we allow ourselves to follow our own authenticity, then there would be no wars, there would be no disagreements, there would be no need for boundaries. There would be an understanding that everything is as it's meant to be. But we know that the earth at this time isn't necessarily set up for that. The journey of being human is about experiencing. It's about experiencing the trials and the tribulations. But I want to honor our capacity for love and understanding, whilst also honoring our need to protect our inner space and our dignity. And the two don't have to be polar opposites. They can both work for our highest self. Because as we look at ourselves today, do we not ask ourselves about compassion, about forgiveness, about growth and about learning? If we think about a mirror, now this is a double-sided mirror. So it reflects back at you what you're putting out there, but it also reflects back to the outside world, what's aimed towards you. So we have to be careful about what's inside that little space surrounded by mirrors. And we also have to not be aware of what's happening outside. So if you send somebody, I don't know, a thought of flowers, and suddenly you get a bunch of flowers sent to you, it's because the world has reflected that thought and you've got what you were giving out.
Not that they've done anything wrong.
Correct.
There you go.
I always say to them, what have you done wrong? But if you put out there, if somebody else puts out there something negative and they get something negative back, is that any of our responsibility and thoughts? Well, if we look at, there's lots of people out there saying and speaking and singing and shouting and doing things that are not our problem. The 4 agreements that I mentioned earlier on, one of them is don't take things personally. But if we take them personally, it means we are allowing things through that mirror instead of allowing them to be reflected back. And if we start in retaliation, it means that we are saying things that's then going to get bounced back to us, out the mouth and back to us. I don't know about you, but I don't like the thought of that. I'm always very careful, and Phil and I have spoken about this lots of times, about what's our mirror reflecting back to us. And I wonder what's on the other side of the mirror, because we might hear about it, but we don't take an interest in it. We allow it to bounce and go back, because if we give it attention, then our energy goes there. So we want to just allow it to flow away. But this requires for there to be boundaries. Now, boundaries is different to having a wall. A wall is very different to having boundaries. Boundaries is about creating a safe space where we can thrive. They're an act of self-love. Walls are about keeping us in and keeping others out and restricting us to the types of relationships we have. So I don't want a wall around me. I wouldn't be able to meet the lovely people I come into contact with and build friendships and build relationships with them. But I do want to manage my boundaries. If you think about your boundaries, the thing inside, think about it as a garden. You've tended, you've watered, you've weeded, you've looked after it. And then other people just come in and tramp all over it, thinking that the plants are weeds and not recognizing just how much time has gone into that. Your boundary is your little fence that goes round the outside and your little signs that says, please don't trample on my garden. I love it and it means a lot to me. And I've spent a lot of time and care and attention on it. People can respect those boundaries, read your little notice and look at it, at the splendor of the plants. If somebody comes in and tramples on your plants, that's when you need to manage your boundaries, which is different to sticking a wall up, because a wall means that nobody can get to see what beautiful innermost truths you have created. Lastly, I want to share about a shield. Now, not a shield as a weapon, but as a layer of light around us. If you think about that light that's around you as a shield, then whenever people see it, they have a sense of being touched by something that leaves them no option but to smile and feel content in your company, because you're not giving out anything else. If anything comes out of those other people around you that aren't warmed and comforted by your light, they'll not stick around. My grandmother used to always say to me, If you manage your boundaries, those that matter will stay because they see the worth in you. Those that didn't matter. Don't let those who don't matter, matter. And I never really fully understood it until I began this spiritual journey. By that time, my grandmother had made her transition to spirit, but I'm sure she's very happy with the thought that I finally get it. I understand what that was about. As we allow ourselves to manage our boundaries and have our shield of light, we can enact that compassion and forgiveness. That compassion and forgiveness stops us making judgment. It stops us taking things personally. It stops us jumping to assumptions. And it stops us behaving in a way that's not authentic. Everybody else has their life to live. As we go into this time of the year, regardless of what faith or belief you follow, it's the end of the year. The end of the calendar year is normally the time where we allow ourselves to leave old behaviors, old mindsets, and old ways of being to the side. It's up to us to stop and pause in that moment and find out whether we are jumping to assumptions, taking it personally, or not having integrity with our words. If we're doing that, that's the moment of choice. That's the moment where you can do different. So we have around about 3 weeks left of this year. We've got 3 years to practice before we move into 2025. Leave that with you.
Thank you, Kerry. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes when we come on to the Sunday gathering, we have our talks in our minds. Then we'll either listen to Sandra or Kerry or myself, I suppose, and you listen to them speak and all the thoughts you had just disappear. And because you're so engrossed in what they're saying. So let's start at Maya Angelou. What a story that is. Struggling through life ships, and some of those things I would not want to go through myself. But yet she didn't give up for justice. She didn't give up for human rights. She spoke about it. She lived it. For me, that is standing in love. That is that shield of strength. Doing something that we are convicted about, that we have a passion for, the reason why we get up in the morning. So that story in itself shines a light upon what each of us can do. And Kerry's right. What a wonderful world it will be if all we saw was the light that we intended to shine out. And those mirrors, how those mirrors at times defend us, but also where she said about what we thought goes out and comes back to us as well. And that sent me on a different chain of thoughts.
Sorry, dear.
That's absolutely fine, my dear. Because it's one of those things to be a human being. We don't want to get caught up in drama. We don't want to be surrounded by toxic people because that affects our thoughts, doesn't it? And you know what? Being human doesn't mean being perfect. At times we have those thoughts where somebody frustrates us or annoys us. That's just being human. But in that moment, we're not meaning it because we have that thought. It's when we purposely go out of the way to cause ill will or ill health, then that's a whole different story. So standing in love is really about standing in your authentic self, your true self, your thoughts, your beliefs, and what means so much inside of you, your integrity. As Kerry said in those words of wisdom and in her reading about living and breathing your thoughts, that integrity, speaking your truth, causing no ill will, just trying to inspire, trying to uplift people, having that within your mind and living your truth and doing what makes you smile, doing what makes you feel happy in a morning when you open your eyes and take your first breath makes a huge difference. Those dramas, those toxicities don't live anymore. because they're not entitled to live within your world, because you're not in their lane. You're staying in your own lane. You're doing what you love. You're standing for what you love, and you're talking about what you love. That is standing in love. And if we understand that, then what a world this could be. Meeting somebody for the first time. And instead of what we hear today, people sharing their views of what they think about others, instead of meeting them in that moment, just like these words right now, being inspired by a moment. What happens if we met somebody with a smile and good morning or good evening or good afternoon, wherever it is for you in the world right now? What happens if that smile was the first one of the day? What happens if that smile made somebody feel better? A simple act of human kindness is not something that costs us anything. It's from within. It's from your love. It's from your integrity, your purpose. The reason why every time we fall, we stand back up again. Every little knock that life gives us, we pick ourselves back up. And guess what? All those people that you think are perfect or successful or have success in life have fallen, have tripped, have caused grazes and bruises, but yet they've stood up and stood in their love, their truth, their knowledge, their dream. Every single one of us has a dream. Maya Angelou believed in Martin Luther King's dream, Malcolm X's dream. They were assassinated. That must have affected her. But did she give up on her own dream? Absolutely not. Human rights was important to her, just as your dream is important to you. Understanding when you stand in your love and you stand in your strength, you have a shield of strength because it's what you believe. It's your faith. It's your love. It's your determination. And that can make a huge difference. Reading a single person's story to how they found strength in adversity, could we not just take a second and reflect to our own lives right now, where we might have personal struggles, family struggles, work struggles, relationship struggles? But if we do what is in the center of our hearts for the greatest good, then what a difference that could make in your world right now. And you never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. And you never know how you might change their life, their world. And if that was like a domino effect, what a difference it would have over the whole world. As Kerry said, there's some places in this world right now that are struggling and suffering, not because they've caused it themselves, it's because by other people or politics or religions or different things. In the thought, they're all good things, but yet when they're abused or pushed, they're not good, are they? That's why those struggles are there. We can change those things with our thoughts, with our understandings. By gaining compassion, empathy, we can make a huge difference in this world. The next time we meet somebody, strangers become friends. Friends become people that we love. It's this understanding that makes a difference. And if we all sung from this place, what a song will that be? And think about the 7 or 8 billion people in this world. What a chorus that would achieve, everyone knowing the same words, singing out, how that would resonate, how that would change the frequency of the planet we live on and the words and thoughts we have, knowing that somebody else thinks like you, knowing that somebody else wants to be kind, knowing that somebody else wants to be better. When we think about standing in love and that shield of strength, every time that we do what we do and we love what we do, whatever it is that you do, bit of a mouthful there, isn't it? What we do. But actually, you stand up like Kerry said, and in that moment, you're doing your best. You're trying your best. And you know what? Sometimes the best is not good enough for other people. Well, that's life. But you've stood up with conviction and love and done what you thought was your best right in that moment. Understanding what we encounter You may encounter many defeats, but you don't be defeated by it. Just as in that song, words might hurt us, but they don't kill us. They make us stronger. That's what we've got to remember. And if you're honest with yourself, as myself and Kerry always are, sometimes what we don't like and that changes the world that we're in actually turns out for the better. And we can safely say within experiences in our lives where things have happened and we thought it was an ending, but actually we look back now and think it's one of the greatest moments. We prefer to look at them as growing pains, understanding that through that pain, we learn something. We gain knowledge. We gain an understanding of somebody else's perception. And in that moment, that's where their mind is. But yet it hurts. But yet we look back and say, that was the moment life changed for me. So take every one of those new beginnings and understand what's in your mind today, what's in your thoughts today creates tomorrow. And the more tomorrows we have in a positive way, in a positive light, standing in what we love, knowing that that love will be shielded because it's a strength from within, think about the many tomorrows you will all have in a brighter, warmer environment that you create. And I'll leave you with those thoughts, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Phil. And thank you very much, Carrie. And Phil, you're right. You think you're going to talk about one thing and then it goes somewhere else. I want to go back to the song, Let It Be. Powerful words. Somebody once told me, and I try to hang on to these words when I can, all is well. Okay, that's the first one. All is well. And this is what life looks like when it's working. This is what life looks like when it's working. Now, I'm not talking about the good stuff. I'm talking about those times of challenges, when things are really tough, when we want it to be another way. And we hear all is well, and this is what life looks like when it's working. Well, it's not working for me. Or is it? You see, like Phil said, those times of struggle and difficulties, those can be times of growth. When we think of that giant pine tree that grows in different areas of the world, the only way the pine cone can release its seeds for them to grow and plant and have new growth is it for tremendous forest fires. Like forests get wiped out, but it's in that heat that those little pine cones, those little seeds can grow again. And I know many of us are joined here today because we've had a loved one who's passed and we've experienced grief or are experiencing grief. And it cracks us right open. It is severe pain, severe heat. It's a fire that sometimes can kill us inside, but I say no, it can allow that spiritual growth to begin. For me, it got me on that journey of looking for evidence of the afterlife and ultimately sharing it and being here with you now. So those are those big times of grief, but well, yeah, we do deal with other people in our life, don't we? And there's difficulties and different situations, and think of them all as opportunities for those little seeds to grow. And I think for us being human, that's what it's all about. It's that we stepped into this world. And I like to imagine that we all chose to come here, right? That we're perfect souls having a great life in the before life or the afterlife, but it gets tremendously boring when we have everything we want all of the time. So we say, no, I'll take this challenge. I'll go to planet Earth. And we forget who we really are, these divine souls that all have that spark within each one of us. And we get stuff, right? Our own beliefs and things happen. And I think as we grow older, things can get a little bit easier in the fact of relationships and things. We start to know who we are, what we're about, what our morals and values and what our integrity is, and we can live by that. But it's not easy. I know for myself, I'm pushing 60 years old. I'm going to be 59 next year. I joke about that, but it's like, how can that be? You know, I remember just being in my 20s and here I am now. But I find myself, I've lived a life really of looking at who I am. What is my life for? What made up the good stuff and the not so good stuff? And even with all the things that I've done over the past 25, 30 years, I don't have it all handled. I'm not supposed to. And I don't think we're supposed to remember who we are every moment, because that would take away the challenge. That would take away the opportunity for all these new little seeds to grow. And as they grow, they bloom, and then we can share the beautiful fruit or the beautiful flowers from them. Just one thing I think we can all look at is, as young people, I had taken a course once, and they said, if you think back to your earliest memory of something going wrong in your life, and you may not be able to think of it right now, but we had some time to think about it. And some people, oh, they were in school, and kids laughed at them when they asked a question, and inside they felt like they were stupid. And those earliest thoughts that we have about ourselves can sometimes really take hold, and that shapes who we are. So those of you who have had that thought, that something happened and you called yourself dumb, very often people go on to get mega degrees, lots of training and studies and all that, just trying to prove to themselves that they really are smart enough. And I've met lots of people like this, but you know what? Unless we do that self-work, we never realize that we are chasing a goal that we never needed to chase in the first place, that it started from some comment somebody made when we were young. Me, myself, and I, what happened first when it all went wrong is I got lost at Disneyland, right? Now, it seems like no big deal. It was probably for just a few moments. I don't know. But as a kid, I can still remember, my inner child can still remember that feeling of fear about being lost. And my parents didn't know I had bad vision at the time, so I couldn't see anything either. So I don't know what happened in that. But I know growing up, it's very difficult for me, even if I go shopping with someone and I can't find them in, say, a big department store or something, it's like, oh, that's just inner Sandra. Now, those little things that happen to us, they shape us in two ways. One, we attach meaning to it. So is it true that I'm not as loved as my siblings because they got lost? Well, absolutely, because they weren't lost. Absolutely not. But as a child, you may feel that way. And if we're to look back on, say, my life, it's been a life of never wanting to be lost, but always being very independent, always having to rely on myself. Very difficult to rely on others. And so on one hand, it's made me extremely independent, right? If you know me, I'm an independent woman, and you name it, if it needs to happen, Phil and Carrie call me Miss Velocity, we're going to get things done. And also, what happens is I want to make sure every single person knows how loved and appreciated they are, how unique they are, how special. So if you've ever been to any of our classes or live events or here on the Sunday gathering, I hope each and every one of you knows that you are special, unique, and you are loved. So did that all come from me getting lost in Disneyland? Well, I don't know if it did or it didn't. But while these attributes are good, I can also be used by them. So if there's some time where I don't feel included in something, that little 4-year-old kicks right in and says, how come they didn't pick me? Why don't they want me for this, right? And then I have to remind myself, that's the inner 4-year-old. I'm a pushing 59 woman, I think okay and successful, and have a nice group of friends and a great community and things. So I ask you just to maybe bounce this around tonight or this week in your own head, is what are those thoughts of yourself, and where did they come from? And are they true? No, they're not true. What little kid is stupid? No, we just are curious is all. And so we stop chasing that invisible dream that can never make us happy. We slow down. We realize who we have in our life. We realize we're okay. If I were to ask each and every one of you to look at your strong suits and the things you're proud of and the things you've done in your life and those moments that you've been there for somebody else and those jokes that you've shared and all those things, man, you're pretty incredible, aren't you? Yeah. I think when we wake up in the morning, we often wake up forgetting who we really are. So we need to put some tools in to remind us who we are and look at the people in our life. Our human beingness wants to look at what's not done or feel guilty about something in the past, but look at who you do have in your life. Look what you do have and really rejoice upon that. Other people, I like to say, if you imagine a an oyster. And what comes out of an oyster sometimes are these beautiful pearls. Well, why? That pearl started out as a irritant. It was a piece of sand inside the oyster. And through time, it was molded into a beautiful pearl. Same thing with the diamond, there's all kinds of pressure there. So I think the message I just want to leave with everybody is be gentle with yourself, be gentle with other people. We don't know the worlds that they have walked through, their experiences, what's made them who they are, those little internal beliefs that they have had since childhood. And yes, we want this world to be a better place and more peaceful. And yes, it does start with all of us. And I have to tell you, if you're on the Sunday gathering here today or you're watching, I think you're one of these great evolved souls. I don't want to say we're better than other people because it's not that, but I think we've taken the time to learn and understand ourselves. And so the world needs more of us, right? And like Carrie and Phil said, be that light in the world. Try not to get hooked when somebody says something. Be like, all is well. This is what life looks like when it's working. Sometimes if we can be, and sometimes we got to fake it to make it, right? Put that smile on their face and we become happy. We can be that light in the world. We can be positive. We can choose to bite our tongue and not gossip. We can choose to say, oh, we don't know what's going on in their world. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to fight. And when people see that, it can be like, subconsciously, it could take a ripple effect. So remember, you are a beautiful soul having a human experience. Whether or not we asked for it, I know that each and everything that happens can be an opportunity to crack us wide open and go on that spiritual journey. And every single thing we collect, those are gifts that someday, somewhere, sometime, we can use to make a difference for another. We are wise souls. And I do believe, as far as relationships, sometimes they do come apart. But as a wise friend once said, they can come apart in the bottom, but all circles come back together at the top. Is it in this world? Is it the next? I don't know. All we can do is the best we can do. And of course, we keep plugging yourself in and coming to our Sunday gatherings, because I know Carrie and Phil and myself, these words and this information keeps us charged and keeps us going as well. So that concludes our address. Thank you all for listening. We are going to move into our demonstration of mediumship now. And this is an opportunity just to witness how close our loved ones are, that they're still part of our lives. They can easily continue to learn and grow and discover in the spirit world, but they can so easily just keep one foot in our world and an eye on us and be with us truly. And going into the holiday season or any time, I know there's some hearts that are sore right now. So we love to share our mediumship. Carrie and Phil are our mediums today, and they are longtime mediums, and they are the best tutors of mediumship on the planet. They will work with those in the unseen world, inviting them to work with us. And our loved ones could be literally family members, people that we love, but they can also be friends. They can be people that we've worked with. They can sometimes be someone distant, but they're part of your community somehow. We want every person who is watching or listening to our Sunday gathering live right now to be on the edge of your seat, because it could be your person that comes through today. Now, what's the common denominator is that these folks no longer walk this earth. So if Carrie and Phil describe a person that you think sounds very much like somebody who's alive, well, just set that to one side. The folks that they will be describing are people who no longer are walking in this world. Carrie and Phil will invite those in the unseen world to work with them, and they'll use them. We each keep our personalities, folks. So they're going to plant images and feelings and thoughts, and who knows how they're going to describe themselves to Carrie and Phil. You'll hear them give a few initial bits of information about the person that has connected with them. So they'll describe the person. Everybody's on the edge of your seat. If you can understand all of the information that they shared, as somebody you know that no longer walks this earth, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, this is the time that everybody goes finding that raise hand button. If you can find it, go ahead and press it for me. All right. If you're on a device like a phone or an iPad, you might have to press a couple of dots first. But press that raise hand button. You'll notice if you press it and depress it, it goes from raise hand to lower hand. You guys are so good. I know there's people that aren't doing this because they've been on all Sunday gatherings. They know how this works. Why this is so important is we have well over 150 people here with us. So we ask that you can take all of the information, all right? Not just some of it, but all of the information. Sometimes it happens that there's 2 or more people that can understand all the information. So Carrie and Phil will work to identify who the person is more clearly. And so if you hear something that doesn't sound like your person, we'll want you to press your lower hand button. All right. If you're the last one with your hand raised and you can understand all the information, I press a magic button on my side. You're going to get a pop-up on your screen and an unmute button will appear. Press it for us. Your camera is off. Don't worry about that. We cannot see you, but it's nice to hear your voice. And when I say hear your voice, your job is very easy. Whether you're here on the Sunday gathering or you're spending time with any medium, all you need to do is say yes, no, or I don't know to the information they give. Let the medium do the work so that we all know that they are truly working with our loved ones, okay? That we're not volunteering the information. Excuse me. Now, there are some members of our community that will get reunited with their loved one today and get a reading, and most of us will not. I say that those who come through our mediums today really are working on behalf of all of us. Like Carrie, Phil, and I each had a part in the address. Those people that come forth with our medium demonstration and those messages, I say they really are for us. So pay attention to how close the loved ones are. Maybe there's something that they're witnessing, things that are happening in our life. Perhaps the message that comes through, you say, oh, I could really use a little bit of that in my life. Take it on. As Carrie has planned our Sunday gathering and who does what, I have no doubt that in the spirit world, they know just who's with us today. And they said, folks, this is what we're going to share, and you folks are going to do it. All right. So they are our panelists, I say, in the spirit world. We always like to play a feel-good piece of music before we start, and today is no different. A very empowering song, Eye of the Tiger. Many of us know it. If not, you'll love it. Sit back. I say you can do whatever you want, but I always just imagine my loved ones right here by my side with those big smiles on their face and just so much joy. And, you know, that's how they communicate, through our feelings, through our imagination, letting us know they really are here with us. So let me find the song, and then we will be back with my fabulous friends, Carrie and Phil. That's a little blast from the past.
I think we were both dancing to that in our chairs.
Couldn't help myself.
I know, it's a fantastic song, and it is a fantastic way of raising the energy of leading into this meditation. Let's all meditate.
That's a good start.
Yeah, it is. Let's hope it gets better. This mediumship demonstration part of the Sunday gathering. I know I've got a gentleman here just telling me to get on with it. I was trying to spin it out, but there you go. I know I have a gentleman here. I do feel like it is husband. But I also know I have dad here as well. And I know that husband was very direct. I know if he had something to say, he would often be known to put his foot in it, figuratively speaking, because he would say what he was thinking, and he wasn't always politically correct. I feel like he would have had his views and he would have felt the need to say them. I also feel he would have had an engineering mind. He would have worked in a way that he, I actually feel he would have worked outdoors, but I get a sense that he would have worked in engineering or some aspect of knowing how things go together. But I know my recipient also has dad in the spirit world. I don't feel husband got to a fantastic old age. I feel like his life was in some way shortened.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, friends, if you can understand all of this information, please go ahead and press your raise hand button. All right. We have 4 friends with their hands raised and more.
And more. And all of them understand this to be husband.
We've got one hand that went down. All right, couple more. Like I said, friends, we have a big group here today, so only raise your
Okay.
hand if you can take it all.
I also know with husband, when he would have worked outdoors and he would have, I feel like he was able to lift. Wherever he worked was near a railway station or near railway tracks. Because I know I can see him putting things together near a railway track or a railway station.
Thank you very
This would
much.
be husband.
All right. And again, you take all the information. Sylvia, Pam, and Carrie, your husband worked near the railroad tracks. Be sure you can take all of that. Carrie, we still have a number of hands up.
Goodness. And at one point, not only did he work close to, you must have lived close to a railway, the railway crossing where you got the bells and the things come down until the trains pass. You must have stayed close to a railway crossing.
Thank you very much. All right, Sylvia, Pam. Okay, Pam and Sharon both say they lived close to a railway crossing.
Because you must have been able to hear the bells or the chimes of the crossing, or indeed the trains as they went through. You know how they honk their horn as they go over the crossing? You must have been able to hear that.
We still have Pamela and Sharon with their hands raised.
Okay, can I work with Pamela first, please? And let's just see.
Perfect. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Pamela. So you would understand everything I've said?
Yes.
You understand husband in the spirit world?
Yes.
And you know where he worked? He was, he had an engineering mind, and the things that he would do would be putting things together.
Yes.
And where you lived, Pamela, you would have been able to hear this, the railway crossing.
Yes.
Okay. And your husband was very direct.
Yes.
Because I get the sense from him that he's so to the point. He doesn't really want to do any of the fluffy stuff. He just wants to get to the point. And he would have maybe not said this, but had this approach. There's no point thinking it if you can't say it. Because I feel my husband would have spoken his truth.
Yes, very few words, just very direct to the point without a lot of discussion. Yeah.
I also get the sense with your husband that he would take projects on and would often disappear into his own space to put things together, those different projects.
Yes.
And in your home, Pamela, there must have been under the stair, a cupboard.
Cupboard under the stairs. It's just storage under the stairs, not a cupboard.
Okay, in that storage space, your husband must have stored some of his things he was working on.
No, I stored my things there. He didn't.
Okay. Then he would have had his own space then, but it feels like an enclosed space that he kept his things in.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And I have the sense too that he would disappear off into his own world.
Yes.
But I also, he had this magical way of knowing dinner was ready. It's almost as if he could smell it, because he would turn up just in time for food to be ready.
Yes. Yes.
You don't sound too clear. Then
Well, he makes the food. He would have been the one
but
to
he
make it.
must be very regimented in the times that he would eat and prepare then.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because it seems that he has certain times of the day, and I know he would have watched the news as well.
Up on the news. I don't know if he
Because
watched.
I feel like it's almost like you could set the clock by what was on television and what was happening around about by meal times.
Not so much, no. That would have been my dad, though, in the spirit world.
That would be your dad, because
Yeah.
then if your dad would have been pretty regimented as well, though.
Yes,
Because
completely.
I feel like it's linked to the news or certain programs, and at certain times he sits down and that's his time to eat
Yes.
and
Yeah.
take time out. With your dad then, I get the sense with your dad that he also was a man of few words.
Yes, yes.
And with your dad, you would have memories of him. There would have been a time that he had an accident at work and was off work for a period of time.
I don't remember that.
Then if that's
may-
not with your dad, Pamela, would
Oh.
you understand that to be with your husband?
Yes, yes,
Because I feel like you got time with the children then.
yes, yes.
I know that we're coming up to the time of year where we miss our people that are in the spirit world. I also know that you have been making your own plans to make this year a little bit different.
Yes, yes.
And I know this is his way of saying, I see what you're doing. I was always the one that put things together and sorted things out. But whatever you're planning, he is so pleased with it.
Oh,
And I know too, your husband must have liked the little, we call them pigs in blankets. I don't know if that's the right thing, but little sausages with bacon around them.
yes.
Your
That's
husband
true.
must have liked those, because I know there is and all the trimmings. I know you said your husband made the meals, but he must have made carrots and his food in a particular way. They're not just boiled, they're cooked in a very particular way.
Yes, yes.
Please know he's not going to be far away this year. And he's so proud of the way that you have conducted yourself, because I know he sees what's going on and the fact that you are taking the higher moral ground and staying quiet, just as he would have done.
Oh, thank you.
I also need to say, with your husband, that it's okay to play the songs that he would have played.
Oh,
It's okay to play them. I'm going to leave your husband and your dad's love and their comfort and their celebration, because whatever you've got planned this year, they and everybody else in the spirit world is going to be there with you and your family. I'm going to say thank you very much, Pamela.
thank you, Carrie. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I've got a number of different people here. I'm just waiting on them sorting out. I have a young man here. I do feel like he would have passed very quickly to the spirit world. And I know that whoever my recipient is, there was an incredible bond between him. I'm really trying to feel whether it's partner or whether it's a different relationship. But I know he passed very quickly to the spirit world. I know there's an incredible love here. I know the name Patrick or Pat would be important to my person here. And I also get a sense that Mum is in the spirit world as well. Would somebody understand husband in the spirit world that would have passed very young, 50s, late 50s?
Thank you, Carrie. All right, friends, who can understand this information? Press your raise hand button, please. We have Kim, Greta, and Sarah with their hands raised.
Okay, and they would also have Mum in the spirit world. And they would understand this to be husband and the name Pat or Patrick.
All right, a couple hands went down. Greta, you have your hand raised. Would you press your unmute button, please, Greta? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Greta. So
Hi.
you understand husband in the spirit world,
Yes.
and you understand he would have passed very young, but very quickly.
Yes.
And you would know, I heard Pat, but I felt it was short for Patrick.
Yes.
Okay. And I get a sense with him that he was, much like my last gentleman, very matter of fact.
Yes.
I know that there's no point using 50 words when 5 will do. I also get a
Definitely.
sense that he absolutely doted on you, because the first thing I felt was his love for you.
Yes.
I know too that you must still have cards, Greta, that he wrote for you.
Yes.
You must also have letters that he sent to you.
Yes.
But they're in their envelopes and they still have their stamps on them.
Yes.
Your husband must have drawn pictures as well,
Yes.
because I know you still have the pictures that he drew.
Yes, it's on the wall. I'm looking at it.
Okay. There's an incredible love from him. His capacity to love the world is incredible. Not only did he draw the picture that you're looking at right now, but he must have also drawn landscapes.
No.
Then there must be a photograph that he took of a landscape that he let me change that. You and him must have gone to some place like the Lake District or the Peak District, or places where there were hills.
Yes.
And you must have photographs of them.
Yes.
And as you look at the photographs, you can see it must have been later in the year that one of the photographs is, because I know the leaves are not on the trees.
Yes.
And there'd be memories of, I know your husband didn't say an awful lot, but he was very affectionate.
He was, yes.
He's just giving me he's just giving me a peck on the cheek and said he didn't do that, but he did much more with you when you were away on these trips.
Right.
And I know that's his way of reminding you of just how much he loved you and doted on you. And I get the sense too, when you were away in the Lake District or those areas, he must have liked to go out walking on his own as well.
He did, yes.
Because I feel like he would have taken a backpack and a tent and sandwiches with him. And I know that he would have had his favorite walking boots. And Greta, you would know where you still have your walking boots that you would have walked with him in.
I have, yes.
But you haven't had them on for the longest time.
No, no.
I know when he comes in here, and your mum's in the spirit world as well, Greta.
Yes, yes.
And your mum must have really enjoyed the company of your husband.
Absolutely.
Because I can just feel them both here. And in some ways, it feels like they are having a picnic. I know it's winter here, but a picnic and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
I know too with them, your mum is absolutely, I know what she passed the spirit world with was hard to watch, but I know there's none of that there right now. And she absolutely met your husband. She did exactly what you asked her. It was the other way around, Greta, actually.
It was. It was.
You would have asked your husband to meet your mum.
Yes.
Because he absolutely did. And I know there's somebody very recently transitioned to the spirit world that you asked them both to meet with open arms and they did not let you down. And all is
Right.
well.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave their love with you. And please know that they will be around you over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. And I need to give you a red rose because I know you've planted a rose in your husband's memory.
No, not a rose.
But you've planted a plant.
Yes.
Okay, but he would have given you a rose.
Yes.
Okay. This is his way of saying, I love you still.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Greta, for allowing me to do that. Thank you very
Wonderful.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful words.
Okay. I was expecting Kerry to go on then. I was engrossed. I was just listening to that last contact. Okay, so let's just put my mind to the spirit world. Okay, so that's fine. So as I become aware of the spirit world here, I know, again, I've got a husband with me as well, but I feel he was a construction worker. I also feel that as I work with him, it's almost there's a sense here that either he was in charge of the construction site, but I also know, and I want to say this because I'm laughing about it, he was quite forgetful because it feels like the person I want to be speaking to would have either come to him or brought him things like his lunchbox and things like that. And I feel here that I'm either in either New York or a big city. And I don't know if he's having a laugh with me, but I keep on hearing your name in an American accent as well.
Carrie.
So, okay, yeah, something like that. I didn't want to pronounce it or go there. So I've got husband in the spirit world. I know he worked on, I'm sure it's construction or some building project. And I get the feeling it's either New York or a, how can I put this? It's either a big city. That's the only way I can put it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, friends, who understands this information, go ahead and press your raise hand button, please. Patiently waiting. No hands are up just yet.
That's fine. I can't change the construction, but I can if I've got the wrong relationship. But I know here it would have been, I know on the construction site, I can't change that because I'm hearing all the sounds as well. But I know here it's either bringing lunch or bringing things to him. But I know he's laughing about it. So I know he has that good sense of humor as well.
Who can take this information? Please press your raise hand button for us. No hands are up yet. Phil.
That's absolutely fine. The thing is, I can't change this. I can't make it anything else. I know that I've got that construction site. I do feel it's husband. No, I don't feel that's with you. And I know with the person I want to speak to, there should be, because I don't feel it's with him, I feel there should be either photography or a connection to photography. In fact, I know they would do photography as well. So I know here, and I can't change that because I'm hearing the clicking of the camera, but I do not feel it's with him. So I know I've got husband, I know that he was a construction worker, and I do know as well, how can I put this? That there's something either to New York or a big city as well.
Well, we have a gal named Carrie with us.
Oh,
Carrie,
that would
can you
make
press your unmute button?
Got a
Hello, can you
hello.
guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you understand everything I've said?
Yes, Phil, I'm hearing an echo. Oh
Yeah,
my
me
God.
too. Me too. So you understand husband who was a construction worker?
Yeah, he ran a fire water damage restoration.
That's fine. Because I did feel I was in charge, like the foreman or whichever. So he ran that. That's good.
Yeah,
But would
he's
you
in
understand what? Yeah,
He
would
was.
you- That's fine, because I know here. And would I be right in saying though, it's almost like his life was his work, but he was forgetful at things at home.
Yes.
Because it feels here where I want to talk about you either meeting him at lunchtime, bringing his dinner.
Yes, Phil, I would bring him lunch.
That's fine, because I know here that's that memory. But there's something I just want to check because I keep on hearing it. Would I be right in saying it's you, Carrie, that does photography?
Yes, I do photography.
That's fine, because I
I'm the
kept
one
on.
that's always clicking the camera. I do.
Okay, that's fine. 'Cause
Yeah.
Don't tell me anymore, because I know I keep on hearing that the clicking of cameras here. But would I be right in saying your husband was a man of few emotional words?
Oh, yes, he was very quiet, and if
But
he had
if I
something,
said that he was quite passionate and energetic towards you, though,
yes.
I'm being polite there. You understand that? Because I know
Yeah.
I've just got this.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I know there's no other way I could say that. But I know here, and it's almost what I want to say that even though he's forgetful and you had to do a lot for him, because I feel he wasn't as enthusiastic around the home as he was at work where it came to work. Would you understand that?
You're totally 100% correct.
That's fine,
Yes.
because I'm choosing my words very carefully, because I'm expecting Kerry to turn around to me and say, oh, just like you. But I know here that there's that impression, but it's almost where I can't believe I'm going to do this. It's almost where a hug and a bit of love towards you was his get out clause of doing things.
Absolutely, yes.
That's fine. Don't you dare say anything, because I know here there's that impression with him. But I also feel as well, he was very family orientated. It's almost where I want to say that the family, you and him, that was the most important for him.
Yes, he worked his tail off for the family. Yes.
That's fine, because I know that. But there must be, where he worked, must have either been New York or a big city, though.
Probably, well, I'm not in New York. I'm near Seattle. So
But, okay, but I know where he would have worked in the center, where he did his work, was like in the city.
yes.
That's fine, because there must be memories of either going out in the city with you afterwards as well.
Yeah, we did a few times.
That's fine, because I know there's memories, not just working there, but we're going out. And where I said he was forgetful round the home, if I said he wasn't the greatest where it came to remembering birthdays or purchasing birthday presents.
On occasion.
Because it just feels here that I want to say some of these trips into the city were to buy things for you.
Yes, he always wanted to take me shopping, but I like to go by myself.
Okay, because I know here it's just the mindset where I want to take you into the city. I want to take you shopping as well. So in some ways, he's trying to say he was quite thoughtful. But again, it's almost where I want to keep you happy. And those days off that he had that are a rarity, it's almost like I just want to take it easy and I want to just spend time around the home.
Yes, that's true.
And I actually feel I want to go to be either on occasion making you like a barbecue or something outside as well.
Yes.
Because again, it's that mentality. And I want to say, though, that he was well liked and well loved by people.
Oh my gosh. Yes, they loved
Because
they loved
it's
him.
almost like I want to say that the neighbors and people all knew him.
Yes, he was loved.
Okay, good. Because I also know as well where I talked about the photography for you. You must have been looking through photographs of him just recently as well.
About 10 minutes ago. It's our anniversary today.
Ah, okay, that's fine. Because I know here he was happy anniversary. I know he was building up to something because on these pictures I can see celebrations. Now I understand why, and I can't give you that because you've told me. But I know here, no, don't worry. But I know when you were looking through those photographs, you must have kissed one of them as well and told him you loved him.
Oh, I do.
Because I know here, and he said it's not just a peck, it's a proper kiss, he says as well. So I know here, but I know the thoughts are still there. But he must have had a wonderful ability to make you laugh as well.
He did.
And it's almost like silly things and silly jokes as well. And he had a knack, even after your tough days at work, he still was able to lift you by that sense of humor.
Absolutely. He had the best sense of humor.
If I said his sense of humor was a little bit wicked and a little bit rude.
Oh,
as well,
yes.
because
Oh, yes.
I know he's showing me things. Would I be right in saying he would do things in the moment as well that would shock you?
Oh, totally. Yes. 100%. Yes.
And if
oh
I
my
said
gosh.
they weren't just in the moment, they were completely out of the blue, a little bit of
Naughty.
then you would understand why he keeps on. I don't know how to say this or do this.
It's okay, Phil.
That's fine. Okay. Would you understand why he pulls his pockets out like ears for me? Do you understand where I'm going?
Yes. Oh my
That's
gosh.
fine,
I don't think
'cause
I can
that's what I
say it.
want to say. He's naughty, so I'm just keeping that clean.
Sandra's face is like, what do you mean?
Oh,
Sandra knows exactly what I mean, sort of thing. It's just that little bit blue as well. Because I do, and the thing is, people would think he was so nice and butter wouldn't melt, but yet there's this other side to him as well. And I know you have some photographs of him where you capture the essence of him, his face and his cheek, almost like butter wouldn't melt. He's pulling, you know, those faces.
yes.
You know? So I know.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
I want to say that there should be memories of, how can I put this? Family, either parties or parties in the home as well.
Yes, all the time.
And it just feels where he was a little bit chalk and cheese and a little bit close to the knuckle, and he could walk in a room, drop a bomb sort of thing, and everyone's laughing and uproar and walk
And
out.
leave.
Yep.
Yes.
That's fine, because I know he's got that ability, but he's also laughing. He must have also left a few aromas behind and walked out laughing himself. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
That's fine, because I know he's brought this. So I wish I got to know him now. Not that last bit, but just the way he is. But I know there's that sense of him there. And I know you've still kept cards from him and you occasionally read the words as well.
I do.
Because he wants to say, I love you so much. And there must be one card with a particular verse that is more emotional than others, because it's not just I love you, it's almost you're my world, you're my heartbeat, as long as you're happy.
I keep it on my dresser.
That's fine, because I know here it's those words I want to leave you with, because I know there's that inspiration of love there as well. And
yes,
you've been thinking there's something wrong with the drains in the house as well.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because he says, no, that's just me doing my usual thing and walking off and leaving. No, I'm only joking. That's just his sense of humor, though, because I know he leaves me that thought.
Oh,
so
yes,
that would be his job to do. And it's almost like I just want to get it sorted there as well. So I'm going to leave you his sense of humor, his love, those memories, good and bad, and just that spur of the moment. You're still finding things in the house of his as well.
Oh yeah, I still have all his clothes and everything.
But
and
it's almost like you go in and little knickknacks. There's something either you found just recently where, in fact, I feel you've just found something from an old vacation that you completely forgot about. And it's like a memento, like either a bottle opener or something with the name of the place we went to.
Well, I found a picture of when we were in Scottsdale together, but
okay,
yeah.
That'll do me, because I know there's other things. He must have brought back some mementos that were quite useless as well.
Yeah, like bottle openers and things
That's
like
fine,
that.
because I know you were saying the holiday pit, and I'm going, no, I'm seeing a bottle opener, so I know here. So I'm going to leave his love with you, Carrie.
Oh
and
my
say
gosh,
thank you
Phil, that
very,
was
very much.
priceless. I
You're
thank you from the
absolutely
bottom of my
welcome.
heart. Thank you. It's so
You're
special.
absolutely welcome.
Have a
Nice to hear
great,
your voice.
thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Okay. So, oh, I've got somebody else now. Where am I going to go with this one? Ladies and gentlemen, just give me a second. Okay. So, as I become aware of another gentleman coming forward, and I was going between husband and father, so I might make a mistake here, but I want to talk about father in the spirit world. And I do believe that he's either a farmer, so I know he would have had his own farm. And I'm not sure, I don't feel it's his name, but there should be the name of either John Johnson, both together. And I just feel here that he would have loved nothing more than just being in his overalls all day and just being out in the tractor all day. But I know this tractor is a very specialized tractor as well. It's almost like a big John Deere or a huge thing as well. But I know it's his pride and joy. And I feel father. So I've got father. I know he was a farmer. I know that he was, he's just very blunt, plain speaking. If he's not a farmer, then he works in big machinery to do with tractors and everything. But I know I can't change that.
Thank you so much, Phil. Who understands this gentleman? Please press your raise hand button.
And there's something here again about the name of either John Johnson that should connect as well.
A little awkward silence while we're waiting for someone to press the raise hand button. Patiently.
Never awkward.
No, I know.
There's always a delay on Zoom, isn't there?
Who can understand this gentleman? No hands up just yet, Phil.
That's fine.
Spoke too soon. Naomi. If you could press your unmute button. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Naomi. Do you understand everything I've said?
Hi, Phil. It's a little different. I have a father-in-law.
Okay, that's fine. I can get the relationship wrong.
His name was Johnny.
Right.
And my mother-in-law's last name was Johnson.
Ah, okay. So it's don't tell me anymore then. And do you understand where he was either worked with big machinery or farming?
Farming. He loved his tractors.
That's fine. That's because I know I've got this, but I know there was something about it. And with the delay, I thought, where have I gone wrong with it? So his name is Johnny. It's the mother-in-law or somebody that's called Johnson. And I know he was the farmer. But it's almost like I want to talk about where he loved his tractors, as I said, and you mentioned. It's almost like the bigger, the better.
Yes.
And it's almost where I specialize on it, and it's almost like I would talk about them a lot as well.
Yes.
And it's almost like where I want to bore the pants off people with how much I knew. Yeah, because I know it's just his mindset as he comes forward here. And it's almost where it's almost like he's got a really good sense of humor, because if I can make a bit of mess and upset a few people, I will do.
He wasn't real messy.
Bear with me 1 second. When I talk about mess, it feels like I want to talk about the tractor and everything else. So he must have either, in fact, let me just look at this a second again. He must have received complaints or annoyed people with the tractor on the road.
That's a possibility.
Because I know here I can't change that, and he's smiling about it, but I know he's very proud about them. But it's almost where he didn't want to, and this is why I feel I want to talk about machinery. He didn't send, if he couldn't fix it, he was very reluctant to send them out. He could fix them himself.
Absolutely.
That's fine, because I know here I'm not sending it anywhere, but I know I can sort them out as well. But I also feel as well in that community and the family, I was very well respected and loved.
Absolutely.
And it's almost where I know of his actions where he would help the local community, he would go out of his way to help people.
Yes.
And I also feel with that kindness, it's almost where I'm not asking for payment. He would go out, and there must be memories where he went out in the evenings just to help people out.
Yes.
And when I say not, it's when he goes out to help people, it feels where I'm either towing cars or because I know I'm going out in the tractor again, but I know it's for all kinds of different jobs.
Yes.
That's fine. And this would be your partner's dad.
Correct.
Ah, so you have a husband in the spirit world as well.
Correct.
Thank you. With your husband, he was very similar to his dad as well, wasn't he?
In the tinkering aspect.
Yes, but I also feel that either the work he did was to do with either machinery as well, not farming machinery, but different kinds of machinery, some kind of engineering of sorts.
He could.
That okay, so he could. That's fine, because I know he's got that mindset as well. Would I be right in saying there was a financial aspect, though, of his work?
To go along with his work, like he made money off of it?
No, in his work, he didn't make money off it. Well, he did because he got paid, but it just feels where there's a financial element in his work.
Not for tinkering.
Not for tinkering, but there must be another element of his work that he did that was financial.
Yes.
That's fine, because I know here it's within my mind. I keep on seeing coins. I keep on seeing money
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
And it also feels with him, would I also be right in saying he was quite romantic towards you as well?
Yes.
And very passionate. He'd give you gestures like roses and things, flowers.
Yes.
And did you say to him, what have you done?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay, so it's not just my wife then, because I know there's an element of this here as well. He also had a very wicked sense of humor. He was very quick.
Oh, yes.
And I want to say that sometimes he was so intelligent and quick, it went over people's heads.
Absolutely, yes.
That's fine, because I know here he's just done something. It went straight over my head and you started laughing, so I got it that way. But I also know with him, that's fine. Would I be right in saying you were with him when he passed as well?
Yes.
And were you sat and you were holding his hand?
Yes.
And you were also, it's almost like I want to say you kept his dignity because you bathed him and cleaned him as well.
Oh my gosh, yes, Phil.
And it also feels where you wouldn't let people in until he looked right.
You are 100% correct.
Because he's thanking you for keeping he's got a good sense of humor. He says, boy, it's good looks, but I know he's thanking you for that personal care. It's almost like I didn't want nurses and doctors looking after me in that private department.
I literally said that, yes.
Because I know here, and would I be right in saying with his condition, he put a brave face on things?
Yes.
Because I know here as I feel things, it's almost I don't want to speak about them. So I know he would cover things up as well. And he would never complain, would he?
Yes, that's correct.
And it's almost where when he could, one of the final acts he did was just lean forward and kiss you as well.
Yes.
Because of you looking after him, keeping his dignity. And I want to say, when he passed, you must have been with him.
I was.
But you were cradling him, almost holding him.
I was.
And I know when he passed, you didn't let go of him. And I know you gave him that kiss on his cheek as well.
Correct.
I want to say that your husband and your father-in-law are very much together, very much looking out for you as well. I know I said to the last lady about finding something, but you must still find either, oh, wow, it's either little bits of silver or gold to do with your husband.
Yes. Yes.
But I don't feel it's jewelry, though.
No, it's not.
That's fine, because it's not entering my mind, but I know here He's acknowledging this as well. With your husband, would it be right in saying he could do tricks like roll coins that are along his fingers?
Not that, but the coins, you have the coins, you nailed it.
Okay, that's fine, because I know here it's just his way of getting me to things. But I want to say as well, it's almost before your husband passed, because he knew he was going to, that he made a promise to you to keep on living your life.
Yes.
And he says, I'm glad to see you doing that and keeping that.
Mm.
And there's a lot of comfort in him because he sees you living life and doing life as well. Bear with me. There's just something I want to just understand here. It's almost where one last thing. It keeps on. You're going to have to help me with this because I can't understand it. It keeps on showing my hands either taped up or bandaged. Would that make sense with him?
Oh my gosh. It's not his hands, it's my hands.
That's fine, because I know here I can't use my fingers because they're all tied up and everything. So I'm going to leave his love with you and your father-in-law. I want to say your father-in-law still causing mayhem in the spirit world with the tractor, but I also know husband's just come to give you that love at the moment, but also let you know he's watching over you. One last thing, you must have a photograph of your husband in your bedroom as well.
Yes.
Because he's just said you say morning and night to me as well.
Yes,
And with that,
yes.
I'm going to leave his love with you, and he keeps on blowing kisses. And he would want to. I want to say you were the love of his life, and he either kept on saying this to you, where you either didn't believe him, but it's almost like I have to keep on selling it to you. Understand?
I do. Yes.
Going to leave his love with you and say thank you very much. I'll finally stop now. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
very much.
Phil.
You're absolutely welcome. Sandra, I'm going to pass back over to you. It's been absolutely lovely to work with the spirit world, to be back on the Sunday gathering. How many years have we been here? It's always like the first time.
Nearly 5.
5. It's absolutely wonderful to be back with you again.
Oh, that was just wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to press that raise hand button as a massive standing ovation for Carrie and Phil and their commitment to humanity on both sides of the veil. Thank you, Carrie and Phil. The good news is they're going to be with us on our next 4 Sunday gatherings. They're not going anywhere. We are sticking arm in arm to get through our holiday season with joy in the spirit world. And again, if your loved one didn't come through, they're with you. They're close, and you can see just how close they are. On the 20th of December, Carrie and Phil will be doing a full 90-minute medium demonstration. So you want to make sure you sign up for that. And also in 23 minutes time, our friend Chris Jacobs, you know him from our Sunday gathering, he will be doing a 90-minute medium demonstration. I am hostess with the mostess. I put in the chat box the registration link if you also wish to join us for that. You are welcome to do so. You can find out more about Carrie and Phil at their website, which is mymediumship.com. In the next week or so, we'll have our new classes that are entry level that you can join. And they're for everyone to really get to know the power of your own soul and work with the spirit world. So we're very delighted about that. Coming up this week, a couple of good things. On Tuesday, we have our friend Scott Milligan sitting in the power hours. We've got a sitting for healing and demonstration of trance mediumship on Friday. Also, our friends Kath and Mitch Shirley are going to be coming up on just after Christmas, the 26th of December, for what's called a free grief cafe. It's just 90 minutes to be with people that care. They are advanced grief recovery specialists as well as mediums. So we've got lots of great things coming up, lots of demonstrations, lots of activities to keep us all connected through the holiday season. I want to say a shout out to those friends that have donated to make our Sunday gathering possible. We appreciate you. It makes it possible for everyone to enjoy them. If you're interested in seeing past Sunday gatherings, leaving a donation, seeing what's coming up, just go to wedon'tdie.com. Everything and more you can find there. So I would just want to leave you with a few last words for the week, and then I'll turn it over to Phil for our closing prayer. But remember, I said earlier, all is well. It is. It is. This is what life looks like when it's working. However, we can each be the change we wish to see in the world. It's so easy to complain about others, isn't it? Oh, yes, I know it is. But instead, what if we choose to remember good times? We look at people in our life, we remember the happy times, and we start speaking from there. In fact, a little tool that I have given you a couple times on the Sunday gathering as we're approaching holidays, and you never know what conversations are with people. But if we start asking people about their favorite memories, their favorite vacation spots, we can strategically change a conversation that may be going in a dark way into a positive way. What was it like when you met your loved one, something like that? Get them talking, and then all of a sudden they'll transform into having all these feel-good memories, and then they may ask you about a feel-good memory. So we are the captain of our ship. We are. How we say it goes, it can go. All is well, and be that change you wish to see in the world. I'm going to turn it over to Phil for our closing prayer.
Thank you for those wonderful words, Sandra. And it's always to be so special to be part of this Sunday gathering. But ladies and gentlemen, if you can join with me by going within that silence within yourself and praying out or calling out to whatever you find is your God, your source of life. Great infinite Spirit, we stood before you once more within this house of power. That power that uplifts the mind, the body, and the soul of everybody gathered here, knowing that your love inspires us to smile. That smile can change people's lives. It can infuse others that we meet. But most of all, we ask for that love, not just for around ourselves, but for everybody that we know, and sending it to those people with on their sick beds and those war-torn countries, as they need that love more than others. But as we gathered today under this banner of We Don't Die of the Sunday gathering, most of all, Father, we send our love to you to keep us safe, to keep us positive until the week we join again once more next Sunday. Amen.
Thank you so much, Phil. And thank you, Carrie. Thank you to our friends here at our Sunday gathering. Thank you to our friends and family in the spirit world. Well, I say all is well, and this is what life looks like when it's working. But our final song is Que Sera, Sera, an oldie, a goodie, and the words are as true now as they ever were. I love it. Great music. Oh, all right, friends. We'll see some of you in just a few minutes' time. I'll open the next Zoom room in about 8 minutes. Thank you, Carrie and Phil. Love you all. And see you all next Sunday, if not sooner. Bye.